If I was a new realtor today, I would ignore 80% of the advice being given to new agents. Not because all of it's wrong, because most of it is too slow. You'll hear people say, build your brand, post every day, buy leads, work your sphere, do open house, make better reels, and some of that can work. But if I had no past client, no reputation, no database, and zero momentum, I would not start trying to look successful. I would start by becoming successful, fast. I've been licensed since 2002. I've sold over 1,000 homes, and I'm still actively in the business selling, just like you. I sit at kitchen tables, I still price homes, I manage sellers, I negotiate offers, I deal with nervous buyers, unrealistic sellers, slow listings, price reduction, and agents who do not communicate properly. So this is not theory. I'm not some washed up coach that hasn't sold property in a decade and just trying to monetize your business. I'm actually in the business like you. And this is exactly what I would do if I had to rebuild from zero. And what I would build it on would be what I would avoid and what I would do my first 90 days to get clients fast. So what would I avoid first? Well, the first thing I would avoid is pretending branding is the business. Branding matters eventually, but when you're new, your logo is not your problem. Your font is not your problem. Your headshot is not your problem. Your problem is that not enough people know you can help them selling or buying real estate. And even fewer people have a reason to trust you. If your first 90 days are spent polishing images instead of creating conversations, you're already left behind. I would also be very careful about buying paid leads. And I'm saying that from experience. I tried cold pay-per-click for 2 years because I had never done it. 2 full years I committed to this. I thought it would become this predictable system where leads come in, I followed up, and deals started happening. I was so disappointed. Most of the leads were either not ready, impossible to reach, or had no real urgency. It felt like I was paying for names and not opportunities. And after 2 years, I did one deal. So can pay-per-click ads work? Yes. Can online leads work? Yes. But for new agents trying to get clients quickly, paid leads can be a brutal place to start. The timing is weak. The follow-up cycle is extremely long. The conversion is low. And if you don't already have strong scripts, strong systems, and even enough money to stay in the game, it can drain your confidence and your bank account quickly. And oh, by the way, I'm currently building a private community for residential real estate agents just like you who want to scale without burning out. If you want more time back, better systems, and a predictable business year over year, instead of this feast or famine, I'll drop a link below. No pressure, just something I'm building for agents who want to work smarter, not longer. All right, back at it. So if I were new, I would not make paid leads my foundation. I would make conversations my foundation. Stop chasing buyers by default. See, most new agents are told to start with buyers. I understand why. Buyers feel accessible. A buyer wants to see a house. You open a door, you feel busy, but busy does not mean you're building a business. See, a buyer can use your entire Saturday and Sunday, write no offer, and then disappear for 6 months. Well, listings are different. A listing gives you visibility. It gives you a sign, gives you neighbors to call, creates buyer inquiries, content, proof. One good listing can create multiple business opportunities. That is why if I were starting out brand new in the business, I would learn the listing side immediately, because the fastest way to be taken seriously in real estate is to understand pricing, inventory, competition, feedback, and seller psychology. You may not win because you have the longest resume, but you can win because you are the most prepared person at the table. My first 90 days. So for the first 90 days, I would not try to do everything. I would build a simple system around 4 daily actions: study, talk, follow up, and preview. That's it. I'd study the market. I'd talk to people. I'd follow up with value. I'd preview homes to build real world knowledge. See, most new agents are weak because they haven't seen enough real estate. They're trying to advise people on value, but they don't even know the product. That's a problem. Real estate sells real estate. The more homes you walk through, the faster you understand pricing. You start noticing layouts, condition, basements, roof lines, backyards, easements, neighboring properties, busy road, smells, deferred maintenance. See, that stuff does not show up when you're at your desk looking at photos. That is how you build real confidence. The daily schedule. If I were new, my morning would be non-negotiable. 8:30 to 9, I'd be studying the market. New listings, price reductions, expireds, canceled, conditional sales, firm sales. I would know what happened before I started talking to people. And then the next hour and a half, so like 9 to 10:30, I would create conversations. Not scroll, not design, not organize my desk, talk to people. I would contact 3 groups. First, people who already knew me, people that know me, like me, and trust me. I would not beg. I would send a simple message. Hey, I wanted to let you know, I've started in real estate. I'm taking this seriously, and I'm working closely with experienced people to make sure clients are properly protected. If you ever have a question about the market, a property, or what something may be worth, I'd be happy to help. See that script? It's clean. No pressure. No awkward referral begging. Second, I would contact people with real estate pressures. So expired, canceled, private sellers, landlords, owners with homes that may no longer fit, estate sales, people with properties that require too much work. See, these are not random leads. These are people who may have a real estate problem, and problems create conversations. If a listing came off the market, I might say, I'll be upfront. I'm a realtor, so I'll keep this quick. I noticed the property came off the market and I had one specific question. Were you still hoping to make a move, or has your plan changed? See, that's not pushy. It's direct. If they engage, I would say this. What were you hoping would happen the first time you sold? What feedback did you get? Where were you hoping to move? What would you need different to happen this time to try to get on the market? That is how you diagnose. Do not try to sound impressive. Try to understand the problem and find out the motivation. Third, I would contact future clients. So this would be neighbors around recent sales, people at open houses, past renters, homeowners curious about value, people who say maybe next year. Then I put them into a simple database. Name, phone number, email, neighborhood, and really important, timeline and their motivation. Next follow-up date. That's enough. Most agents don't need a more complicated CRM. They need to actually follow up. Then 10:30 to 11, I would send value-based follow-up. Never, ever send something just checking in. Use context and value. Hey, a similar property just listed nearby and I thought it was relevant. Another home reduced its price and tells us something about how buyers are responding in that specific market. Another one. This one just sold and I wanted to show you what that means for your value. That's useful. It's valuable. Then from 11 to 12, I would preview property or create one piece of content based upon what I learned that day. Not generic content, field content. Example, what I noticed in the market today. Bang. Why this home did not sell. Bang. What buyers are hesitating on right now. What sellers are getting wrong. See, that way the content becomes proof that you're actually in the market, not a substitute for doing the work. How I'd win trust as a new agent? Well, if you're new, don't pretend you're not new. People can smell that. Instead, position it properly. Say this, I'm newer in the business, but I'm not casual about it. I study the market every day. I'm working with experienced people and I'm going to be extremely prepared. You may find someone with more years in the business, but you will not find someone who is going to outwork me on this. That's believable, it's honest, and there's some authority behind that. And a lot of clients will respect it because many experienced agents are coasting. They show up late. They wing the pricing. They barely follow up. They rely on old reputation. See, a prepared new agent can beat that all day long. Not by pretending, but by being sharper. I've seen that at kitchen tables. Sellers don't always choose the agent with the longest resume or awards they have on their desk. They choose the agent who makes them feel like their move is being handled properly. If you show up organized, know the numbers, explain the competition clearly, and follow up on what you said you would do, you give yourself a chance, even if you are newer. The skill I would learn first, if I could only learn one skill early, it would be pricing. Not posting, not buying pay-per-click ads, not door opening, pricing. Because pricing is where a seller actually needs your expertise. When I sit with a seller, I'm not just giving them a number. I'm helping them understand how buyers will compare their home against the competition. That is the real pricing conversation, not what the seller wants, not what the neighbor got last year, not what they spent on the renovation, what the buyer feels the value is worth today based upon the current market. That's the question. I also use a simple rule. And if you've been following my content, you've heard this before. 21 days on market or 12 qualified showings, whichever comes first. If we don't have an accepted offer or a compelling argument, the market's speaking to us. We need to review the feedback, showing activity, competition, recent sales, and price. Then we ask, is the issue location, condition, or price? And the only one in a seller's control is really price. That framework makes you sound like an advisor, not a salesperson. And if you're a newer agent, you need that, because if you can't explain pricing, you will struggle to win the listing. What I would track for 90 days would be the following numbers. How many people did I talk to? How many real estate conversations did I create? How many follow-ups did I send? How many homes did I preview? How many appointments did I ask for? That's it. Not likes, not views, not compliments on your post. Those are fine, but they are not what's going to build the business. A business is conversations, appointments, signed clients, and closed deals. Track the work that creates those outcomes. So if I were a new realtor today, here's the exact playbook. I would not be trying to look successful. I would start by becoming useful. I would avoid making paid leads my foundation. As I said, I tried cold leads for 2 years and I only got one deal. And I'm not talking like decades ago. I tried this like 3 months ago is when I killed it. So this is current for me. I would not chase buyers by default just because that is what new agents are told to do. I would learn the listing side inside and out. I would study the market every morning. I would create real conversations every day. I would follow up with value, not just fluff, just checking in. I would preview homes every week, probably like every other day. I would practice pricing until I could explain it clearly. I would stop hiding behind preparation because at some point, preparation becomes procrastination. You don't need the perfect branding. You don't need 10,000 followers. You don't need to sell 1,000 homes like I do or be in the business for 20 plus years. You need skill. You need consistency. You need conversations. And you need the courage to ask people if they need help. That is how you get clients fast. That is exactly why so many agents are in trouble right now, because they were sold the idea that real estate was flexible, easy, and mostly about marketing yourself online. But the agents who survive are the ones who can create opportunities when the phone's not ringing. So if you want to understand why many agents are failing right now and getting left behind, the gap between the serious agent and the struggling agent, you got to check out my next video right here. 92% of real estate agents are going broke. Check it out right now.